Well, get this overhead light off. It's blinding everything in here all awfully. Look at it. All right. Well, hello, crafters. Big D here. Doing my thing. Painting my stuff. Just kind of getting ready for the next week of stuff. My cats are whiny. My God, they are so whiny. I don't know what their issue is, but all they do is complain all the time. Food, water, all their stuff, fresh, everything, and they just whine. I hate cats. I love them so much. Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Tug. How you doing, guys? Hiya. So, actually, I don't think I'm going to be able to paint tonight. I'll paint after the stream. So, how are we tonight? We are doing what we do, prepping what we prep for. I have a tournament coming up this weekend, so I'm trying to rock through, painting my stuff up. I finished my Lord Discordant yesterday. Tina and Ben, Arthur Chavez, Superfly, my guys, how are you? So I finished up this thing. I'm not crazy about this sealant I use. I'm going to have to change it because everything's looks kind of dull. But I finished up both of these boys. So another one of these done. And then here's the other one with a slightly brighter coppery tone to it so I can tell them apart. And then my Venom Crawler, also all done and looking spooky. Finished up these boys. Group of 5 of them. 5 Legionnaires done. And I just got to do my... What do I got left to do? I got to do 10 Possessed, 10 Chosen, 2 Obliterators, and I got to finish up my Master Possession, but he's close. He's pretty close. So we're getting pretty close. I only have to have them done by the end of the week. They'll be fine. We'll be fine. They got most of their base coats down. It's just a matter of doing some detail work and just making them look better. A little better. So, how are we all this week? What do y'all got going on? So, what is going on in the world of Warhammer? Let's see. Warcry is the new version of Warcry. I don't know if it's out just yet, but it was on the cycle to come out. Ben can tell me for sure if Warcry is actually out right now, because Ben's the main person I play Warcry with. It looks really good. We have yours. You have yours. So Warcry is out. I love the new edition. I think it looks great. I love the fact that even though they're releasing the companion as a solid book, they also bothered to release all the different sections of the companion as separate PDFs for free. I think on the part of GW, that was a really classy thing to do. I really, really think that was a classy thing to do. I'm actually... They rarely do things like that, and that was very nice of them to do. I love Warcry. I love the way it plays. It's the reason I like the new version of Kill Team, because the new version of Kill Team plays a lot like Warcry. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm going to actually buy the new edition. I know I'm getting a set of the figures because I love one of the 2 sets from the starter box. I think once I just get a base copy of the rules and have my own army for it, because I've got several Warcry bands, I'll be good enough. I can build my own terrain for it. I think it should be fine. Gershbaum, how we doing, buddy? So yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think Warcry, it's a fun game. If you haven't played Warcry, he's not here. I'll tell you, Ray. Have some of the regular Coke. Yeah, I ordered pizza tonight because I didn't feel like tacos and I didn't feel like cooking. So, and they misdelivered the wrong freaking soda and said, "Well, I'll bring it back." And that was 45 minutes ago. It took them almost an hour to get me pizza from a place that's 4 blocks away. Little aggravating. I understand that there's labor shortages right now, so I know it's not the driver's fault. I'm not mad at him. I understand everybody's overworked. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I just ordered a couple pizzas and a 2-liter of Diet Coke. How freaking hard is it? You know? Really? Is it all that hard? So, yeah, exactly. Fold the slice, boom, taco. Yep, and that's basically. I had tacos. I had pizza taco. Just so you know, if you ever want to gift me with pizza, I am a thin crust guy. I don't like thick crust anyhow. I like thin crusts. That's lots of spicy meats on it. I'm a pepperoni and sausage kind of guy. Yeah, whatever. Get out. That's little D. He's running a game tonight. He's so self-important. Run your game, you freak. So, what else we got going on? So, Warcry, like I said, Warcry is pretty great. Lots of updates in Horus Heresy. Like, a lot of stuff that was released only in the box is now, all the different parts are now being released separately. The Leviathan and all its add-on kits are all loose. The Contemptor in its new edition is released. The new Maverick in plastic is released. All the tanks, the Sicarian, the Kratos, they're all in plastic. It's great. We have a controversy in Horus Heresy, and pen, too thick and gross. Thick and gross. There's a controversy in Horus Heresy. The change that they made to dreadnoughts and the way they interact with the game and the way the rules interact with the game, basically, if you don't have like lots of heavy weapons, dreadnoughts are king. They're just devastating. They're so hard to kill, and they can run around with all the freedom of a character and all the shooting and the punching of a character, and they basically are these impossible to kill tanks that melee the shit and shoot the shit out of everybody. They are devastating, and you basically need to have dreadnoughts to deal with dreadnoughts and or lots of heavy weapons. Luckily, the group I play with, pretty much nobody went and bought extra stuff, so everybody's got like one dreadnought. So it's a thing. I mean, luckily nobody's playing Iron Hands, which have some right of war that let them do stupid stuff with extra dreadnoughts and whatnot. And it makes them super, super powerful. So, but luckily nobody we know is playing Iron Hands. One of the guys I talked to in chats, my buddy Payton, he plays Iron Hands, and he's like, I won't even play that right of war because it's just not fair. And I got to give him props for that because, I mean, dreadnoughts right now are pretty overpowered, and because it's not a competitive game, they're not going to get a lot of attention to making rules updates. So I still love the game. I think it's kind of you have to kind of have a friendly gentleman's agreement to, hey, let's not get stupid. And for the most part, it works. My Wednesday groups have been really good about it. We've been fine. We've been playing, 50 dudes on the table and just bashing away at each other. And it's a good time. It's still a lot of fun. I love the game. Necromunda. I don't know why. I've been talking about Necromunda a lot the last few days. Like, it just keeps coming up in conversation. I'm interested to hear from anybody in the comments below. If you've played Necromunda, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. Because I want to play Necromunda. I really do. Like, I used to play it a lot in the 90s. I still have a lot of my old stuff. And my buddy, when he gave me all that old stuff, basically replaced all the stuff I was missing and gave me a ton of replacement figures. I love the look. I love the feel. I love the play style. I love the campaigny type way you're supposed to play Necromunda. Hang on a sec here. Sorry about that. My guy with the soda actually showed up. What a wonderful thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. Maybe that's maybe that's what I do. Maybe that's what I have to do, but I want to make sure I have a few other people. So, thank you. And you can have some of the regular Coke that's in the other room. Thank you. Diet Coke. It is the blood of life. My apologies for the interruption. Just tonight's been a thing. So, yeah, I really kind of want to play Necromunda. And the more I've been looking at it, the more I'm like, this just looks cool. And like I said, I used to play the old Necromunda. I used to play the hell out of it. I used to really, really love playing the hell out of it. I used to love building the terrain layouts and the crazy multi-level. And I understand a lot of those rules are no longer in place. But now they've added like extra terrain rules and outdoor terrain so that you can add low-level vehicles like little bikes. And like now they showed them off this week. My gang that I like the most, the Escher gang, have basically pod racer engine bikes. They basically have an engine with handles on it that they drive around on in jet bikes, and that's just as cool as hell. And then there's the tech guys. I forget what they're called. The Orzhov or there's the Orloff and the Orzhov. They're two gangs that are very similar, but one's all mystical crap and the other one's all high-tech crap. Well, the high-tech guys have basically Green Goblin glider bats that they fly around on with hover and like force shields and shit like that. And then, of course, you've now got the squats, and they've got a freaking cargo hauler. And then there's the new tribes of the Ash Waste tribes, which are dudes jumping around on giant fleas. I mean, they've done more. The hell was that? They've done more with Necromunda in like the last 3 months than they did in the 10 years beforehand. It is and the thing is, that's the thing. Necromunda has gorgeous figures. The terrain is beautiful. The figures, the sculpts are gorgeous. And armies aren't big. You're not building like 2,000 points. You're not building like 60, 70 dudes. You're building 10 guys, maybe 15, and that's it. That's your game. I mean, you could upgrade them if you want, and then build one differently with different gear on it. You could do it that way. You could magnetize them. Although a lot of them, Yeah, like Kill Team. Again, a lot like Kill Team. Again, one of the reasons I like Kill Team. And I don't deny it, but I love Kill Team. The difference is between Necromunda and Kill Team. In Kill Team, you use the figures you could use for your army. In Necromunda, you're using figures specifically for that. There's no Marines involved. There's no Sisters of Battle. There's absolutely no Xenos. It's unique figures. But you can use all your GW terrain with it. Plus, they've got a bunch of really cool terrain too. So, I don't know. I kind of really want to get my hands on Hive War, which is the basic starter box. It has a bunch of the underground terrain. Kirsch, we can get you playing Kill Team Friday if you want to play. You got a place for you to play Friday. You can just bring your freaking crew and play. We'll talk about that too, because that's looking great too. But yeah, so for whatever reason, like I said, I've been talking, for whatever reason, Necromunda keeps coming up. And I just keep really thinking, maybe I should just bite the bullet and freaking buy the game. Because I want to play it. The problem is that if I buy it and I don't have a bunch of friends to play with, I'm never going to play it. And unfortunately, the only reason I stopped playing Warcry was because Warcry came out. We played for a couple of weeks, and then COVID hit. And then we never saw anybody. And by the time we got back to the idea of playing Warcry, we were so deep into playing 40K again, we never got back to Warcry. Now we're trying to push for it again, as I think everybody's finally got their appetite sated for 40K. I hope. So we'll see. I don't know. Part of me wants to buy Hive City. Part of me wants to buy the Ash Wastes box, which has all the basic rules, plus the Ash Wastes rules. It's $100 more, but it's got a bunch more terrain, and it's got the Orzhov, basically the tech dudes, and they've got like these double-seater bikes, and it's got the dudes on giant fleas. And since I've already got a box or two of the Escher Gang, which come in Hive War, so I don't need any more Escher Gang. I have plenty of Escher Gang. And I actually have in lead, I have more than enough of the Goliath Gang. I actually have Goliath and the Orlok. So it is Orzhov is the tech dudes. I have Orlok, the psychic mystical dudes. I can do them. And so I could do that. And I could probably just buy a box of the squats. Then suddenly I've got 5 full armies that anybody can play if they want to learn how to play the damn game. God damn it. Ben! Nobody showed up for Kill Team anyway. And that's a shame because I'd be there for Kill Team this Friday. I actually, like I said, I would come, but I have a tournament on Saturday. And so just in case I have anything not painted, I have to finish up anything I have left to paint, plus make sure everything's packed, have all my cards, have all my strats down, have my lists, have all my stuff packed and ready to go the next day. I kind of don't like playing games like this whole week. Like I'm not going to my Wednesday or Thursday games this week, so I'm not going to my Friday game either. I'm using this week to finish painting and focus on my game for Saturday because I'm tired of going 2-1 and ending up in middle of the pack. Damn it. I've got a good army. I'm a good player. I want to go 3-0. Or at least go 2-1 and end up in the top 5 or something. Score some points. This is very likely the last tournament for 40K I'm going to play this year. I might play in one more, but I doubt it. I want to give my buddy Kirschbaum a chance to play if he wants to play, and a couple of the other guys that support the group as part of the Warp Storm team. I want to give them a chance to play and do some more administration. Plus, I'm kind of getting roped into potentially running an Age of Sigmar tournament in Mequon in October. Potentially. We're still working out details on that. Yeah. I need to lay back a little bit on some of my gaming. I need to get some painting done. I need to get these guys painted. I need to finish up my other project. I need to finish packing this up because I get those 2 things done. I can pack up the board and do the complete. We've got everything pretty much prepped to do the move. We were hoping to get it done before Labor Day, but now we're looking at like doing it Labor Day weekend and doing the big move Labor Day weekend. We'll see. We will see. It all depends on how much help I get from certain people that live in this house. Playing Child Little V. Plus, actually taking apart this bench is going to be a pain in the ass. I'm worried that I may have potentially stripped out a couple bolts and I may not be able to completely disassemble it. But that's a problem for future me to deal with, I guess. I'm looking up at the construction points because screws should all come apart. I think everything else should come apart. I'm worried because I know I built this thing to not move. And I'm worried it won't. And I know it won't fit through a door. So we'll see. I don't want to have to build an all-new bench. Oh, there is some reality that may be an option. That being said, all right. What were we talking about? We're talking about Kill Team. We're talking about Warcry. Kill Team. They released and showed some of the new stuff with the new set of Kill Team, where we're going to see Imperial Navy Breachers versus Kroot inside of a Space Hulk. I like the Space Hulk. I kind of like the Navy Breachers. I don't know how I feel about the Kroot. Like, there's multiple armies that don't have a single entry yet. There are multiple Xeno armies that don't have a single entry yet, and yet now they're giving Tau basically their second entry. At least we have new Kroot models. Yeah, they keep saying that, and that's been the whole big selling point, but the whole box is all the 2 miniatures. That's great. But they've done that like every other box now. I mean, every box has had new miniatures in it. That's great. There's already like 3 Imperial units. You've got the Marines, you've got the Guard, you've got the Sisters. There's a single Chaos unit. But I mean, let's be honest, Chaos doesn't have a lot of diversity. So there's a single Chaos army. You got the Eladari, and you got the Tau. Would it have killed them to do I don't know, Necrons? Or Gene Stealers? You're doing a Space Hulk. Why not do Gene Stealers versus Imperial Naval Breachers? Well, I kind of have an answer for that one. We'll get to that. The rumor mill has been ablaze the last month, and I tried to not read into too much of the rumors. They got a bespoke Kill Team name for Intercessors. I will have to. I did not see that. I'll have to go and look at that. I did not see it. Weirdly enough, I do a lot of research to refresh everything the day of, and today was such a freaking stupidly busy day. I didn't get a chance to do much of anything, and then I came home and just was like, oh, and I didn't get on my computer until about a half hour before I started the show. Because I just needed to just unwind because my day was so crazy. Not a bad thing, not a bad day. Just wow. Things are getting. My boss is on vacation, so I'm running the department, and everybody's just like, and I understand why he always looks so harried, because people just IM him out of nowhere, asking him some of the most insane questions. And because he's not there, they IM'd me them today. And I was answering questions that made me really think that, maybe one of these guys that wanted to poison the world with sarin gas wasn't completely wrong. No, it wasn't that bad. I got to ask some questions that made me really lose a little bit of faith in humanity. It's just like a brand new employee kept asking questions, and I kept answering his questions. And like every third question was, you really should talk to your supervisor about that. Well, how do I get this? You should ask your supervisor about that. Well, what about that? You should ask your dude. I'm the IT help desk. I'm not HR. I'm not the company directory. I'm the guy that helps you with computer problems. You have a guy that sits right next to you. That's your boss. Ask him. It was a thing. It was fine, but it was a thing. They see the word help desk, like, you must help me with everything. And it's fine. If I have the answers, I don't mind. But he was asking about stuff. I'm just like, so it was a day. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we might as well just go into it. The rumors. Fine, let's talk about the rumors. I didn't put much credence in them. I didn't put much faith or belief behind them. And then last week, one of the more reputable, I should say probably one of the most reputable YouTubers for 40K in the blogosphere came out with, yeah, my guy tells me X, and confirms these rumors. And if these rumors are right, holy shit, we are looking at, wow. So we all know more than likely 10th edition is coming out next summer. This is kind of a known thing. We know how GW cycle goes. 10th edition is coming. We've got 2 codexes left of the ones that currently exist to get updated, and we've got 1 new codex in the squats. So the reason the Guard Codex has been delayed a couple times is because of some design issues. Because the idea is that they're designing the new Guard Codex to be the bridge from 9th into 10th, which is good and bad, I think. But they're basically making these next couple of codexes. The word is these next couple of codexes are going to be future-proofed so that they won't need to be immediately replaced with the new edition rules, that they'll work with both the current edition and the new edition, because they hear people's complaints about constant codex updates. Yeah, like they said about and Ben, that's the whole thing. I completely agree with you. That's exactly what they said about 9th, and 9th has had some eras of some pretty broke ass rules. But then you come back to like right now. I mean, look at it right now. I'm going to speak a minute to the competitive level of play. In competitive play right now, there is more balance and more even in play than there has been since 6th edition. There are people smarter than me, more 40K expert than I am, that are literally saying this may very well be the best era of equality between forces 40K has seen in 20 years. That says something. Yeah, and that, Ben, you hit it right on the nose. By reducing the number of command points, they've limited the ability to alpha strike with stacking stratagems. And suddenly, by limiting the amount of command points and making people limit the amount of pregame choices they can make, and combining that with the limited number of starting off with, yeah, they nerfed the crap out of some of the armies that were stacking up 6-7 points on first turn attacks and wiping a half an army off the table. And that was breaking the game. There's no question that was breaking the game. And by doing this, they fixed a lot of that. Well, the word is that GW's noticed this. They're also noticing that Age of Sigmar, when everything is up to date, when the different armies that are in play are up to date, they're pretty even with each other. The ones that are out of date, the ones that are out of play, they're pretty either really broken or really bad. There's none of it. It's really funny. None of the armies with a codex are right in the middle of the pack with everybody else. All the ones with codexes are kind of even with each other. The ones that don't have a codex are either way up here or way down here. The biggest complaints people had about Horus Heresy, or I should say the biggest complaints people had about a 40K, people are saying are fixed in 40K, are fixed in Horus Heresy. The reactive nature of combat, the nature of reactions, actions and reactions, the fact that there are no command points, there are no stratagems, there are no busting in a reroll here. If you fail a roll, you fail a roll. That's just it. Having that stuff out of whack with each other. 40K, Horus Heresy is a very even playable game. And yet armies that are wild, they're all the same models, but they play very differently from each other. It's a very interesting situation. So the word is that with 10th edition, that they're going to severely limit stratagems, if not outright eliminate them. What that's going to look like, we don't know. But what we do know, at least according to the rumor mill, and again, these are pure rumors. I don't take them as a word of God, but at the same time, from the source I'm getting them from, if you're familiar with who I'm talking about on the internet, his sources have been dead on. He and I have actually chatted a few times about this. I'm a member of his Discord, and we've talked a few times. I'm a patron of his. Marines are getting another makeover, to say, in that a lot of the things we're missing in Primaris versions that we have in Firstborns are coming. Jump packs, jump pack units, Primaris specialty units, i.e. Primaris Sanguinary Guard, Primaris Longfangs, Primaris Knights, Primaris Terminators. There's a lot of units that are getting converted to Primaris size version. Rumor. I kind of keep reiterating this. I don't want someone to take this out of. But the idea is that this new starter box will be units that can be used by any army, but the starter box for 10th is going to be not Ultramarines, but it's going to be Blood Angels. The units will be generic, but the box art and the paint guides that come with it, like you normally see at the starter boxes, instead of the poster boys being the Ultramarines, it'll be the Blood Angels. And the reason for that is in 9th edition, the army that got the complete refresh to start off was the Necrons. Yes. Segmentum Nihilus. They're apparently doing that campaign in real time or something like it. So we're going to see the Blood Angels and the complete rework of the Tyranids and Gene Stealers. So Gene Stealers have one of the oldest models currently in the line. They're going to get their model replaced. A lot of Tyranid units are getting replaced, getting new sculpts. There's going to be a ton of new models to come in to represent the 200 years they've been at war and the new gene fodder they've put in the pits and come up with new stuff. Bugs and Bug Boys. Yep, and that's going to be the box set. The new starter is going to be Blood Angels. Instead of being Ultramarines versus Necrons or Ultramarines versus Death Guard, it's going to be Blood Angels versus Tyranids. But the word is that one of the big things that they're pushing for in the 10th edition is to come up with Primaris replacements for the specialty units in each chapter, which says to me that the 4 or 5 non-standard units the armies are going to get, they're going to get their guys replaced. And we were talking about this. I don't remember if we were talking about it on this stream here or we were talking about it in another chat, because I would know we were talking about this recently when this news broke originally. I think I was talking about it in an after hours chat with the Frost and Fist guys. But the idea that every army could, just like Horus Heresy, every chapter gets some flavor. One of the biggest problems with the standard Marine chapters is that they're standard. They have one or two named characters, except for the Ultramarines. You've got the Imperial Fists who have two. You have the White Scars that have one. You have the Iron Hands that have one. The Raven Guard have one. Imperial Fists have three, but one of them is technically a Crimson Fist. And even the Black Templars only have two or three. But then you've got the Ultramarines that have like 12 or 15. You have the Dark Angels that have like 12 or 15. You have the Blood Angels that have 12 or 15. And you have the Space Wolves that have like 20 some odd named unique characters. That needs some pruning. And I think what they're looking for, as much as I hate to admit it, I think what they're going to try and push towards is moving as many as they can to Primaris, and finally with 10th edition start to phase out the old Marines and push them to the Nethers by replacing them with Primaris equivalents. So if you have models, you can still play them, but they will not be replaced with a non-Primaris version anymore. So we'll see the phasing out of, including Ben, from what I'm hearing, including Grey Knights. Literally, that's why one of the things I talked about was Primaris Terminators, like literally a Primaris-sized Terminator figure. It's going to be Primaris, but it's going to be the Indominus-styled Terminator, and those will be the replacements. So how they're going to do it, I don't know. I think it's a massive undertaking, and that's why up till now, they've been talking about this like for a month, and I didn't know how much I bought into it. I'll be honest. I don't know how much I bought into it, and I still have a lot of my doubts, because you're talking about a massive revamp to 30 years of gameplay. And then I thought about it and went, hang on. That's going to be 2023. That's not just 30. That's 35th anniversary of Warhammer 40K. You know how people like big round numbers, big round multiples of 5. And suddenly it started to make a lot more sense. '87 saw the release of the book. '88 started seeing the first figures for real, the first major production. 5 years later, we saw the release of 2nd edition. So 30th anniversary of 2nd edition, which really codified the rules into a war game rather than being a skirmish, role-playing, weird type of, I don't know what this is kind of game. Because if you've ever played the original Rogue Trader rules, I don't even know what you call that game. It's like a role-playing game, a fighting game, skirmish game. I don't even know what you call it. It's just weird. But 2nd edition really codified the rules and really put together a playable war game. And that's 30th anniversary of 2nd edition, 35th anniversary of Warhammer 40K. And suddenly we're looking at a very real, and 40th anniversary of Games Workshop. That's the other thing. Next year is 40, 35, 30. It's Warhammer. It's 40K. It's 2nd edition 40K. there's a real reality there. Hey, Space Marine 2K, good to see you, buddy. There's a real thought that this could be the revamp that everybody thought it was going to be. Again, it was one of those, you don't want to believe it because it's just like, it's a massive financial undertaking. You're talking about so many sculpts being redone. You're talking about so many units being redone. You're talking about so much documentation being run down. You're talking about a fundamental change in the game. Why would they do that, Age of Sigmar? Oh, shit. That's a goddamn good point. They're not going to Age of Sigmar 40K. That's their cash cow. But they don't want to keep producing the old kits. We already know this. We already know they don't want the old kits. They've done everything they can to discourage them. They've done everything they can to take some out of production. Well, we'll bring them back at some point in the future. Yeah, bullshit. Nobody believes that. You're taking them out, and you're going to put them back up on a build to order, or make to order conditioning for the express purpose of nostalgia. If you were serious about it, you wouldn't have taken sculpts that you just put on the market 2-3 years earlier and take them right back off. It's interesting to note that they're bringing back out Space Marine Heroes, the next season of them, and they're the exact same sculpts as the first season, but they're painting them in Blood Angels colors now. That's completely different. And then somebody pointed out, have you taken those Space Marine Hero sculpts and actually put them up next to a regular tactical Marine? They're a lot bigger. They're not as big as a Primaris, but they're a lot bigger than a tactical Marine of the same type. Like, one person pointed out, if you really look at them, they're pretty close to true scale versions of Firstborn Marines. How far is that from being a Primaris-sized Marine? How far are we going to move from that? I don't think it takes much to go from Mark 6 to Mark 7 to just being everything Primaris. And I hate to admit it, because I like Firstborn Marines for my wolves. But when the Black Templars replaced their normal squad, which was 5 tactical Marines and 5 scouts put together in a single unit, and replaced them with completely Primaris-sized unit, right then and there, it was like, well, okay, scouts are on the outs because they've already got Primaris. They've already got Primaris sculpts to replace scouts right here. So if everything's right about 10th edition, we're going to see the game get a major revamp. Not just the Primaris Marines, not just the Firstborns kind of silently being pushed aside, not just the Tyranids. The big rumor is that they are getting rid of stratagems or reducing their effectiveness. It's been kind of a nebulous thing. But a couple people have been commenting, apologize, train going by, if you can hear that. A lot of people have been commenting, especially in the blogosphere, about how 10th edition, from what the rumors coming up, and some of the people that have some of these rumors are solid sources, that they're going to blow the edition up. Like 10th edition is going to take a lot of what made 8th and 9th what it was and chuck it out the window. And again, streamline it yet again. Because of the complaint, we went from having one book and only supposed to need one book to we're back to a stack of books. Now we're back down to one book. We're back to a stack of books again. The word is that they want to streamline it again, but they want to streamline it in such a way that they don't need to do it. These weird updates every 6 months, that they can just do a campaign supplement or a Nihilist type book or an Oculus book every 6 months, and just do that book every 6 months and reduce their costs, pure cash for them, and reduce their player costs, allowing them to buy more models, which is what they want. We'll see. Again, it's all rumor mill and nothing has been confirmed. My personal rumor guy has no insight on that, mainly because he's more in the view of he has more visibility in what models are currently in production and what models are in shipment right now, that type of thing. So he had no insight into that. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Again, let me know your thoughts and thoughts below. We are currently 1 hour through our stream. So if you'd be so kind as to hit that thumbs up, we're having a good time. If you're not a subscriber, please hit subscribe. Ring that bell. So anytime we can come online, you know we're here, and we're here to entertain you. I'll also have in the thing below, you'll also see social links. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I say shit, sometimes 40K related, sometimes not on Twitter. So you leave it as you want. My Instagram is entirely 40K related, though. We do have a Patreon. Links below. Again, big thanks to my current Patreon members. I want to give a shout out to the wonderful Patreon members I have: Inquisitor Zane, Joe Bookish, Minnie Warmutt, Greg Tesh, Tina Raven, Ben Carrasquillo, my brother, the amazing Master Modeler. And then, of course, not present tonight, though, Pirate Phoenix and the Commodore. Well, thank you guys all so much. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate what you do for the channel. So what's going to come up over the next couple weeks? Well, we're going to see some updates, obviously. We've been seeing a lot of stuff on the Leagues of Voltan. We got to see the new leader type, Kal, today. Everybody's kind of losing their mind about that, or was it yesterday? I don't know. Tina Raven, the beautiful and mysterious Tina Raven. I hope that makes you happy, Tina, because it brings joy to my heart. So I'm looking forward to the Leagues of Voltan. They've been showing off a lot of stuff. They showed off the different variations for the bike. They showed off the new leader. They showed off the Berserkers. Oh my God, those Berserkers look awesome. We've seen about 90% of the models that they already talked about. We've only got a couple things left to see. We'd like to see the actual Psyker version of the HQ. We haven't seen that yet. We've seen the Ironkin. We've seen the power suits. We haven't seen the Land Fortress. They mentioned there's a Land Fortress. We have not seen it yet. I want to see this Land Fortress. I'm expecting something looking like a combination of a Imperial Cathedral and a Baneblade. I just want to see a vehicle on treads with guns in every direction. That would be awesome. That's what I want. Like a Stompa tank. Yes. I'm assuming there's going to be a few more things they're going to show off. We haven't seen them yet, but that box has got to be coming soon. I'm hearing rumors we're going to see it sooner rather than later. We might even see it before the Guard releases, which I know makes a lot of Guard players really freaking sad, but that release box may come up before the Guard get their update. Demons are next. They are on the plate. We've been seeing their leaks. I would not be surprised to see the Demons get their pre-order going in the next 2 weeks. I would honestly say the demons will get. I honestly think the demons will be on pre-order. They'll be on pre-order before the end of August. I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see the Leagues of Old Town in September. I honestly believe we're gonna see the Leagues of Old Town in September. We're gonna see their pre-release box. Their official codex will probably not come out for another month or two after that, giving us time to actually build the starter box we get and figure out, I don't have enough to build an army here, and realize that we're going to have to wait till they actually do a release to actually play the freaking army. Much like they did with the Sisters. I honestly expect the Voltan box to be very much like the Sisters box was when the Sisters got their new release. I expect those to be very similar in release type. I think we're going to see like 30, 40 figures in that box. It'll probably be a $300 box. I would not doubt it, considering the new Warcry box is $230, and the the Ash Wastes Kill Team box. God, I can't get anything right tonight. The Ash Wastes Necromunda box was $300. I would not be surprised if we see it as a $300 box or a $335 or somewhere in that range box. But we're going to get a lot of freaking figures out of it. We're going to get a codex. We're going to probably get codex, cards, maybe even dice, and then a shitload of figures in that box. But that's going to be like a $300 box. To give you an idea where I'm getting the idea for the price on, take a look at the Age of Darkness Horus Heresy box, which had dice, had templates, had 40 figures plus a 2 HQs plus a dreadnought plus a big ass tank and 10 Terminators. And that was $300 with a rule book that you could honestly put into a pillowcase and beat somebody to death with. Wouldn't be an issue, and that book could kill a man. So I don't think it's unreasonable to think we're going to see a $300 box for the Leagues of Voltan, and I don't think it'll be enough to field an army. I think you won't have enough troops to do it. Because you're going to get one thing of troops, you're going to get a couple of things of elites, you're going to get the HQ, you're going to get a vehicle, you're going to get the bikes, and it's going to be great, but it's not going to be enough to run an army. And then you'll have to wait for the release date, and probably the release date where it's going to have a start collecting box, not a combat patrol box. Whatever. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to see for reality. But I think we'll see that come September. I think we're going to see Guard at the end of September or the beginning of October. I think with all the ramp up we've seen on the Vulcan, we're going to see them like crazy after the demons come out. I don't know if we're going to see too many new demon figures, honestly. I haven't heard a lot about new demon figures. My guy hasn't mentioned them. I think the big thing we're going to see is a new set of rules that are going to be more reflective of rules going forward. Demons have an interesting thing where they have a save and they have a demonic save. And demonic save is like an invulnerable save, but it can't be bypassed. That has a lot of people up in arms because it's been an ongoing war where, okay, we're creating all these things that have massive amounts of armor penetration. And so now we see a proliferation of things that are invulnerable saves. And then we saw a proliferation of things that bypass invulnerable saves. And so then we saw a thing of proliferation of things that go, well, I can only take so many wounds in a round, or in a turn, or in a phase. And then we saw things that said, I don't care about that rule. And now we're seeing things that go, well, I have an invulnerable save that you can't bypass. Basically, we're seeing people going, that rule's messed up. We have to fix it to replace it with something you can't bypass. And we're going to fix it with this. Then we're going to give it something that does bypass it, but you're doing it a different way. Or we're going to come up with something to fix it so it does the other way. And we're basically just seeing this escalation. And it's a little out of hand. And I think they did the best thing with it when they went Armor of Contempt and just said, hey, all this shit loses a point of AP. What are you going to do about it? And we're taking away a bunch of your CP. Wow, we've got parity again. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe we figured something out. Maybe everything doesn't need to have a shitload of AP. Maybe we bring it back to dicing shit again. Because we got the other armies that have all these mortal wounds. Well, I have ways to shrug off mortal wounds. We have more ways to shrug off mortal wounds. We have more ways to do mortal wounds. We can shrug off mortal wounds. We bypass invulnerable. We don't care about it. It's just a never-ending cycle. So how do you get around it? And I admit my army's one of those armies that benefits from that. I'm playing Word Bearers. And Word Bearers specifically, the entire army has a 5-up feel no pain against any form of mortal wounds. Now, because half my army is demonic in nature, I'm really vulnerable to things like Grey Knights. But I don't really have to worry about as much about their mortal wound stuff because I can just go, no, I don't care about your mortal wounds. And I had that happen recently between the adding of the Armor of Contempt and the shrugging of mortal wounds. I walked up to a Necron player. Sorry, Tog. I walked up to a Necron player and went, I don't care about your mortal wounds, and I don't care about your Nightbringer. And I meleeed the shit out of him and the Silent King. Just meleeed them. My guys are walking around like, I'm a tank, da 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 da. Those are Marines. Yeah, but we have 3 wounds and we don't care. But there's other shenanigans going on. So I don't know. It was a fun game. I got to say, Tog, I really appreciate it. It was a fun game. There are some rules that I got wrong that I now have to learn a little differently. So it was good to have to roll dice a lot with them to learn the army better, which is what I mainly wanted. And you brought heavy to the fight, and I really appreciated that. I told you just go hard, and you did. And it let me see what I could do, what I couldn't do, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. So, big love to my buddy Raina. Well, I'm part of the problem. I mean, my guys are part of the problem. We have Armor of Contempt, and we shrug mortals. I did say bring it, and you did. You brought it heavy. My God. You brought it heavy, man. It was tough. It was a tough fight. I did better than I expected. So, we will see the fruits of our fight this Saturday. All right. I'm kind of running out of steam here. I've talked about everything I want to talk about. I've talked about everything I need to talk about. My brain is running on empty, and I don't have a lot to keep going with. So I think the last thing we're going to quickly talk about is some stuff that came up in a conversation I had the other day talking about miniature wargaming. We were talking about the contrasting play styles in skirmish games to full army games to fantasy games where it relies on melee and modern games and sci-fi games that rely on shooting, and yet the injection of melee into certain versions of those games. And I honestly think I have to agree. Uncle Adam was talking about this the other day. I think I'm starting to understand the draw, far more the draw of skirmish games. But not for the reasons I think people think of. Because I do like big war games. I like big war games. But they're an all-day affair. I mean, even if you only get one game in, you're still taking up, like 3 to 4 hours of your day playing, plus the packing everything up and all the prep and going and setting up and playing and then breaking down and then going home. You're setting up like a tournament, a 40K tournament. A one-day tournament is a one-day game, and you're blowing 12 plus hours playing 3 games. There's only a few armies that missed that memo. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of armies that are mainly melee, but they've started bringing some range in there. And yeah, there's range in there, but in a lot of armies, melee is still king. Speaking of which, Tzeentch, quick thing on that one. I'm going to come back to what I was saying. Age of Sigmar, Tzeentch has stuff coming out real soon. I think I'm trying to remember who the other army was, because there's a new battle box coming, and it's going to be Tzeentch and somebody else, and I forget who the other army is. Yeah, because they were just showing the figures off for that. Lumineth and Tzeentch. That's right. It was Lumineth. Lumineth was the big guys. Lumineth and Tzeentch are getting, and Lumineth are getting a new figure, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, Lumineth are a beautiful army to begin with. So Lumineth and Tzeentch are coming out real soon. That's pretty cool. I mean, I keep wanting to get another army for Age of Sigmar, and if I do it, I want to get Lumineth. I know where I can get the original Lumineth release box still for freaking bargain price. So I've been really thinking about grabbing it, but I still want to finish up my Slaanesh. So yeah, means I'll have new books in about a month. Yeah, so that's great. That means the new book, the new figures, new stuff. It's really good. I like that they're catching them up, and it's Tzeentch and the High Elves. That's fine. I mean, Order has so many armies. I mean, there's so many of the armies fall under Order. I mean, you look at Chaos, there's only 6 armies under Chaos. There really is only 6 armies under Chaos. I mean, they're not Destruction. Destruction's what, 3, 4? You got the Orcs, you got the Giants, you got the Ogres, and the Gits. That's it. So yeah, that's it. And I mean, Death basically has 1 real army, 2, 3. You got the Ghosts, you got the Bones, you got the Vampires. That's it. So, I mean, that always kind of struck me as funny. It's like, why are effectively the Dark Elves, because they're the Dark Elves from the old Warhammer Fantasy. Why are they in Order? Well, they're not Chaos, because they're very anti-chaos. Are they Destruction? I mean, all the Destruction stuff are like Savage Psychos. Wait a minute. They're Savage Psychos. Why aren't the Daughters of Cain under Destruction? Yeah. So, like I was saying, I'm beginning to fall into I really like the idea of skirmish games more. Like, I like 40K. I don't want anyone to think I don't love 40K. I love 40K. I love Age of Sigmar. I actually might like the playing of Age of Sigmar more than 40K, although I like the lore of 40K more, which is weird. But because I love the playstyle of Age of Sigmar. Thank you, Ben. It's all about Ben. Ben's my guy. But the flip side of that is skirmish games. If I were to spend a day just playing skirmish games, I could probably get 6 or 7 games in the same amount of time that I got 2 games of 40K in. Like, if I were to spend a full day, play 2 games of 40K, I could probably get 6 or 7 games of Warcry or Kill Team in that same amount of time. If you were to honestly have an all-day tournament, like you have for 40K, where you have 3 games of 40K in a single day, if Ben, you're a dick. All right. If you were to actually try and hold a 1-day tournament for like Kill Team, you can honestly have 45-minute rounds with a 15 minutes between it. You could do 6 rounds easy in a single day and still have time to go have dinner. Ben, I can never forgive you for that. My little spear, you stabbed me in the heart. I like fast games. I like fast-paced games. I'll be honest. After I leave Kill Team on Fridays, I go and play Magic. And I can go get 4 or 5 games of Magic in a couple hours. On Saturdays, I go and play Commander, which is a longer game, and I still get in 4 or 5 games of Commander in a matter of 4 or 5 hours. I'm playing a game an hour at most. Most are running at a half hour. I like faster paced games so I can get it on, get in there, throw some punches, and get done and start again. That is the biggest problem with 40K and Age of Sigmar. And more 40K than Sigmar, because Sigmar, if you got everybody who knows their army, you can get through a game pretty gosh darn quick. 40K just has, because of all the reactions and the stratagems and all the different phases and all the different things that can only be done in specific phases and timing and buckets of dice at the right time and the wrong time and the gotchas. 40K, trying to run a game of 40K in 2 hours and 45 minutes, which is a tournament standard for 5 rounds of 2,000 points of 40K. I almost never see a game come to completion unless it's a complete overrun on one side. You see people get to like round 3. Okay, this is how it's going to go. And then they talk out. They spend 10 minutes talking on the next 2 rounds are going, and they're done. It is very rare to actually see people on round 5 still figuring out what's going to go on. It's rare to see that in 2 hours and 45 minutes. Because those first 2 rounds take an hour and a half to play. If you're lucky. I've seen the first 2 rounds take 2 hours to play. I've seen the first round take an hour and a half to play. That's insane. And if 40K has any problem, that is it. The fact that to get the game going, it takes, you put your figures down on the table. We're going to spend 20 minutes setting up the table, prepping our units, putting them on the board, prepping for where we're going to start our fight from, and then we start the fight. True. Very true, Tog, but still. You spend 20 minutes, and if you're both in focus, 20 minutes, you get your buildings up, you get your units down, and then you roll dice and then start to play your game. And then you're going to spend an hour getting that first turn where you've got all your units. You got to move them. You got to do command phases. You got to remember all your things. Do all this. Do all that. Back and forth. That is my biggest complaint about 40K, is that first round takes forever to get the momentum of the game going. Then I look at things like Flames of War, where in an hour and a half, a complete battle goes on. Guys in a single night play 2 to 3 games. In a single evening at the game store, they play 2 or 3 games. You look at Marvel Crisis Protocol, and those guys could play 2 games in the same time that 40K plays 1. If you're lucky, you get a full game in. I love 40K, but it is a time sink. It is a massive time sink. If I have any desires for 10th edition, it is some way to speed up the game. Make it run faster. Make it play a little faster. Getting rid of gotchas. Getting rid of stratagems and baking those unit-specific stratagems into the units themselves. Something. Make command points only viable for doing rerolls, or even take them out. You get to reroll 1 hit. You get 1 reroll per phase. Every phase, you get 1 reroll. That's it. You get 1 Overwatch per shooting phase, per charge phase. You get 1 unit to Overwatch. That's it. You just pick a unit. That's the unit that's Overwatching. If you want to put some strategy in it, before the charges are announced, you announce which unit has the Overwatch on it. So now your opponent has to decide whether or not he's going to charge that guy or not. But every unit that charges them gets the Overwatch on it. There would be a great way to fix Overwatch. This unit has Overwatch, and every unit that charges it gets to fire at. But if you don't charge it, I don't get my Overwatch. It makes you make decisions. It makes you play differently. It speeds up the game. Just a thought. These are the things I think of. And these are things I might be thinking about more and more as we try to put together this narrative game. So, final thoughts for the night. I love 40K. I love Age of Sigmar. I think I like skirmish games better. Don't get me wrong. I love 40K and Age of Sigmar. But I really think I like, conceptually, skirmish games better. Which is one of the big reasons why I want to play Necromunda. And as much as I really want to love Blood Bowl, I think I'm finally over it. All right, you crazy kids. I want all of you to go out there, paint your figures, build some terrain, play some games, roll some dice, shake somebody's hand afterwards and say, thank you for kicking my ass. I had a good time. That being said, I'm Big D, the Gamecraft Dragon. And I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for sharing this evening with me. And we will see you in the future. And until then, game on, my friends.